Hey everyone, welcome to the Zweig Letter Podcast. I'm Randy Wilburn. Today's episode comes from a special series we recorded at Zweig Group's ElevateAEC conference in San Antonio, Texas. For those who aren't familiar with ElevateAEC, it's Zweig Group's annual gathering of AEC industry leaders. 3 days of keynotes, breakout sessions, awards, and candid conversations about the future of architecture, engineering, and construction. The content we captured was exceptional, and we wanted to share it with a wider audience. So whether you're listening to a keynote address or a breakout session, you're getting insights from the people shaping the industry. And if you want to learn more about attending a future ElevateAEC conference, visit zweiggroup.com. Now, let's dive in.
Welcome to the Zweig Letter Podcast, putting architectural, engineering, planning, and environmental consulting advice and guidance in your ear. Zweig Group's team of experts have spent more than 3 decades elevating the industry by helping AEP and environmental consulting firms thrive. And these podcasts deliver invaluable management, industry, client, marketing, and HR advice directly to you, free of charge. The Zweig Letter Podcasts, elevating the design industry one episode at a time.
Good morning. Good. Most of you ate breakfast. Have you ever been somewhere and you marked it on your calendar, you made all the plans because you all are high achievers, and you're like, yeah, this is something I've got to go to. But when you arrive, you have this feeling of, I am exactly where I'm meant to be. Does that sound familiar to maybe some of you? You know, I've had a lot of those moments in my life because I have a no regrets life, because there's always a lesson. I am impatient because sometimes it takes me too long to learn the lesson, but I do know that I'm always exactly where I'm meant to be. And Chad and I did not prepare together, like we didn't compare scripts, and I know all of his words were for the industry of which I'm a fan of. But it felt like every other sentence was a reminder that I'm exactly where I'm meant to be. So I say that in hopes that you all also chose to be here, whether it was an award that invited you or the chance to be in community within your industry. I hope you continue to be extremely intentional in choosing to be exactly where your feet are every moment that you are. So, show of hands, how many of you enjoy traveling? Thank you. How many of you enjoy architectural, engineering, and construction, even when you're not working in it? Excellent. So, I brought a little bit of science, a little bit of story, and hopefully we'll get to share all of it, not just mine, but among all of you, through the power of some photographs that I have brought. And my appreciation and empathy for the work you do comes from one of my favorite jobs in corporate America, where I had a chance to lead several offices in China, where I was responsible for creating winning environments for the team. On a sexy day, that was throwing happy hour parties, connecting teams, driving engagement scores. On a really tough days, it was, there are too many mosquitoes in the summer. What can we do about this in the office? Not fun at all. My most recent experience was also as a small business co-owner, where we were at the mercy of high steel prices and concrete unavailability, which really affected our business. So from that place, I do want to thank all of you for the work you do individually and the work you do with your teams. as you build not just infrastructure and skyscrapers, but also careers, communities, and lives. So as we move through the slideshow, I hope that if your mind wanders, at least you might enjoy some of the infrastructure, skyscrapers, bridges, etc., that show up. And when your attention comes back into the space, that you'll also enjoy the reflection with every picture. This was actually taken in 2019 when I had the chance to complete 5 years living and working in China. By choice, I learned and grew a lot. And this is the Shenzhen Civic Center, and that building that we lived across is one of the tallest in the world right now, and we got to hear and see it being built every day of the 5 years that we were there. So who are we and what are we building? I'd like to get a feel for who's in the room. So please, hands up if you identify as a parent. Thank you. I am not a parent. How many of you identify as someone's kids? Okay, good. I hope all of us do. And I hope all of you brought it today as well, even if you're dressed in maybe, not kids' clothes. How many of you enjoy plants? Okay, I like eating them. How many of you have pets, identify as pet owners? Excellent. Well, Chad wouldn't let me, have all of you stand and dance around the room, so I need to, help you all move by raising your hands. But yeah, I am a reluctant pet owner, but I have come to understand that my 2 cats, Karma and Smalls, have been among my greatest teachers because they don't need language. They are very clear and very present with their needs. Really good leadership training. Now, knowing who we are is incredibly important, especially as things seem to get faster, because no matter how many headlines are now popping into your iPhone, here you are. So to move through speed requires that we fully integrate into the people that we are, the energy that fills this essentially biodegradable spacesuit that we all have, that we get to dress, that we get to lift weights with, that we get to create PowerPoints with. So knowing that our bodies are our foundation, are our essential flight suits for the incredible unique energy that is in each and every one of us is really vital. And sometimes it's really hard to remember that. This is an unusual picture of the Great Wall of China that took over 2,000 years to build by many, many generations. There were probably bold ambition. There was probably also a ton of fear. But it was built in a time where there was no Wi-Fi, there was no internet, there was definitely no AI. But just a human-to-human energy that brought every brick, that put it all together, and continued its building over 2,000 years of humanity. It's still here. We were standing on it. This is the part that is the least maintained, about 40 miles north and about a 4-hour uphill rugged hike into the prettier parts of the Great Wall that maybe some of you have been. I hope you get to go there. It's pretty inspiring. So I've delayed it long enough to tell you my story. And thank you, Chad, and the Zweig Group, and the generous sponsors for inviting me to connect, learn, and celebrate with all of you. Inspired by Chad, my call sign today, and as it always has been, is integrator. I was one of those that started out in a fast-paced country. So I am born and raised in Singapore. The country only turned 60 this year. So for those of you who've reached the wisdom milestone of 60, it's kind of incredible, isn't it? So being born and raised in Singapore meant that I got to learn about competition and go to school, and it was just all about the A's and B's. There were some questions in life that I couldn't answer as I went from school to education, like what's your 3-year plan? What's your 5-year plan? I just always went with what felt right. And as I look back on a lot of the data, what felt right was a gut instinct. And I know many of you appreciate and honor your gut instinct. So how do we hone and honor that gut instinct when things seem to be moving faster and faster and faster? We make choices. We recognize that we're always exactly where we're meant to be. We recognize that there is always something to be learned, even when there are moments of high resistance. Sometimes the lesson just takes a little longer. And most importantly, we always have a choice. If we're here in this room together, most of us are not dealing with poverty. We are dealing with building the next generation. And as we do that, it is easy to forget the little stuff. So just one more question. How many of you remembered to brush your teeth this morning? Excellent, thank you. That is the level of health and well-being that we can go to. I got to 38 and achieved all of my professional goals. I got it all. I wanted to work in 3 big countries, Singapore, the United States, and China. I got it all. I wanted to run an office overseas, and I wanted to earn the job, not because I checked a certain box. I did get it, and it was the best job I've ever had. So 22 years, 20 jobs, 22 years, 20 bosses, 15 jobs from analyst to vice president, 4 major companies, 3 countries, 1 college degree, 1 happy marriage, a ton of memories. So what do you do when you crash? Because you've already done it all. And that first crash was actually when I caught COVID. I did all the right things, all the vaccines, all the masking up, staying away, and yet I remember coughing my lungs out to the point where I was wondering, why am I still here? I've fulfilled my life goals, my life mission. Somebody else should take my place. Somebody should not lose their grandmother or grandfather through that terrible disease. Why am I still here? That would be the moment I started learning about the power of questions and slowing down so that I could understand the question and just be open to how the answers kept showing up. Crashing meant that I found myself unable to get up one morning, the night before I was supposed to fly to a leadership meeting, and I had never missed a leadership meeting before. But this time was really interesting. There was a knowing. My gut was telling me this is the beginning of the end, because I did not make conscious choices to take myself off the treadmill. The treadmill was going to throw me off. Or in my case, I could not get out of bed. Multiple doctor's visits later, it led to a surprise sabbatical. I had wanted the backpack kind, travel around the world, more stamps on my passport. But sabbatical brought me into silence. And it was in silence and studying that I got to reconnect with the vital signs of the small stuff, like the brushing your teeth. That if you took deep breaths, you get 18% more oxygen. Simply, we have to breathe. In fact, we're being breathed, aren't we? It's not something we can turn off. We can hold our breath. I think the longest human record is 11 minutes. But not beyond that. We get our breath taken away from us when we are complete in our assignment. I also learned about moving joyfully. Moving joyfully isn't about punishing your body. It is about respecting what it can hold, respect in what it can do, that you deserve good health because you moved your body joyfully. So I hope you consider that additional frame, that you don't just have to move because you have to, but it is with joy that you get to move. After all, this is how you got here, right? Chewing slowly. This is the simplest way to explain it. If you take your time to chew your food, some of you, the data ones in the group, like to count, so count to 40. For the ones in the group that do not like to count, just get your food to smoothie quality before you swallow it. Yes? Thank you. Thank you for staying with me. It is really important because when you don't do that, meaning the enzymes in your mouth are not doing the work they're meant to do, then guess what? Your stomach has to compensate. This is where some of that reflux situation happens. When you inhale your food, when you're so proud that you eat faster than the other person, your stomach is about the size of your fist. Take a quick peek at your fist. Right? This is where then the stomach has to compensate for what the mouth didn't do. Not efficient at all. Sipping water. Most of you know that a lot of our bodies are made of water, somewhere between 50 and 70%, so we need to put water in it. It moves all the good stuff, it also moves all the bad stuff out, and most importantly, don't chug your water, because it'll come right out, it'll create hormonal imbalance. Make sure you drink your water, but just sip it. There's a lot of water available. Please intentionally sip water to stay hydrated and whole. Eating mindfully. Thank you, Chad, for a beautiful buffet spread that includes all colors of the rainbow. And that is really important. You don't have to be able to spell fancy science words to recognize you make choices. The number of colors you can get on your plate from fruits and vegetables will keep you in a good place. The choice to eat vegetables first, followed by your proteins, then your starches, and then your dessert. So don't skip dessert, just eat it last. Actually helps you because the vegetables go in as fiber and they keep you full for longer. It really is that simple. You don't need a gym membership to nurture your well-being. Sleeping gratefully. Sleep isn't a burden. It's actually sacred time. It's sacred time for your mind to go recharge while your body does its actual work, where your body takes all the good and all the bad, processes it, and helps you keep what supports you and lets go of what no longer serves you. So the science that I hope to leave you with is really that simple as brushing your teeth. Breathe deeply. You can do that with your eyes open, even without your eyes closed. Move joyfully, even today. Move as you move from room to room. Be intentional. Move with a smile. Chew slowly. I think enough said. But chewing slowly also allows you to listen to the person that you're talking to. And listening deeply is a lost art. And listening deeply is at the heart of our health and well-being. Sipping water, I won't belabor it. Thank you for sipping a drink. Eating mindfully and sleeping gratefully. I hope you will remember these, and I hope you won't underestimate these as you then find the bits and pieces that resonate, regardless of which generation you identify with, whether you're a parent or a child. So burnout happens when you start feeling that Sunday scaries or the fact that you just have this dread going into a meeting or a presentation. And it is a warning sign when vacations are no longer sufficient. I think it is a big watch out. Ever take a vacation from a vacation? The ones with families, I think you know what I mean. So I invite you all, as you move into the fall and as we move also into family and community seasons of Thanksgiving and gift-giving, to first take care of yourself so that you can be in integrity, to then take care of others. Because burnout ends at the start of conscious leadership. And that leadership is of yourself, then for others. So let me ask you, what do you want for your health, your wealth, and your relationships? If you can put 2 words to it, your health, your wealth, and your relationship. Get strong, diversify investments, quality time. It really is that simple. I invite you, as you connect, learn, celebrate, and recharge at Elevate, to carve out a few moments for yourself. In fact, right now. As you then turn to think about, what do you want for your power, purpose, and prosperity? Slow down to speed up was gifted to me one day when I huffed and puffed into my vice president's office because I was really mad as a young manager about how long it took to make decisions. I'm like, what's going on? Like, we've got to get a move on it. He heard me out, and then he said, slow down to speed up. And then he asked me to read the founder's biography for wisdom. That phrase stopped me in my tracks and has since come to encompass the wholeness that is, my health is my power. Ever considered how the heart is the first organ to really be significant and develop when lives come into this earth and where we're always listening for heartbeat? Sometimes in the bigness of our jobs and our titles and our confidentiality clauses and our M&As, we forget that we're not alone, that our heartbeat and our breaths are gifts that we have gotten and that we get to hold in our biodegradable spacesuits. The power of our health is important because it is our integrity that then allows us to live into our purpose. It's no coincidence that there is a U in the word purpose, right? Our purpose, our wealth of energy, our wealth of money, our wealth of skills. Purpose is about stewardship. So how can we steward the resources given to us that is our wealth for the relationships that we care about, which is a state of well-being, prosperity? And relationships are not just about the person across the table or on the phone. The relationship is also with yourself. What is the relationship you have with yourself? Do you like the person in the mirror? Have you smiled and said hello and thank you to the person in the mirror? That relationship is key as you launch from today gradually back into your teams, as you rethink productivity and you challenge norms. What if all the stress is happening for us, not to us? What happens when we apply technology with the perspective of it is power with, not power over? And what if we looked at generations as, isn't it extraordinary that there are about 5 generations in the workspace? There is so much untapped wisdom because we are same, and different. Remember how many of us identified as parents, as plant, fans, and as pet owners? If we look to our similarities while honoring our differences, we'll be surprised. Speed without clarity leads to waste. But one of the things they don't tell us when we're leading transformations, or that we don't spend enough time on, is the concept of unlearning. What are you unlearning as you lead through change, as you slow down to speed up? Here's a fun one. Is the pain or the work you're going through Are you a lobster that is just breaking out of its old shell and coming into its new shell because it has grown? So you're still a lobster, just going through the shell-breaking piece, which is painful. Or are you going through a state change? Are you a caterpillar that suddenly decides that, okay, I'm done, hanging out outside, I need this cocoon around me, and I just feel like creating a cocoon, and you come out on the other side as a butterfly? The state of unlearning is within the cocoon, where the butterfly completely dissolves into essence, imaginal cells is the term they use, to then come out on the other side as a butterfly. There's a reason that even though it's the same life cycle, that it has two names, because it is two states. So I invite you all to think about what might you unlearn, first yourself, then your teams, then with your customers and your communities, as you navigate business at the speed of business. Connection, collaboration, curiosity, essential ingredients as you go through the unlearning process, because it is uncomfortable. And can you sit with the discomfort? You can. Use your breath. Drop in and listen. Practice listening deeply, not just actively. Right? Listening deeply is simply listening to listen without the desire to fix or respond. Listening actively is a skill that you listen and you reflect and you want to respond. You want both to bring alive connection, collaboration, and curiosity. No significant success is possible without teamwork. I invite you to take a moment to just think about the last time you named the strengths of your team. You made an investment in the strengths of your team and celebrated. I hope you have them. I'd love to hear them. And when we go to break, I hope you share them with your table. Because this is what it's all about, isn't it? It is the future of humanity. And all of you are leaders in an industry that builds legacies, not just in the buildings, the design, the roads, the railways. It's in the lives. It's in what these spaces hold, which is essentially human potential. All of you do the work in creating spaces and places that hold human potential. That's an incredible work to be part of. So, how can you slow down to speed up with power, purpose, and prosperity? And if slow down to speed up isn't quite your jam, maybe a different acronym might work. So pace to build. Pause to breathe. Align with your intentions. Make conscious choices. Be present in all of it. Elevate. What do your choices elevate? Then breathe. Understand the choices you have made. Integrate. Come into your body. Lead and deliver for yourselves and the world. Thank you for your time.
Thanks for tuning in to the Zweig Letter Podcast. We hope that you can be part of elevating the industry and that you can apply our advice and information to your daily professional life. For a free digital subscription to the Zweig Letter, please visit thezweigletter.com/subscribe to gain more wisdom and inspiration, in addition to information about leadership, finance, HR, and marketing your firm. Subscribe today.